Good day, I'm Bob McKin. What? As you can tell by my brother doing both parts of our theme, we got our old show back, eh?
Yeah.
2 minutes. Beauty, eh?
So
sit back.
Yeah, enjoy
relax,
it and
have a beer.
Perhaps.
Got lots of time this week.
Let's give him a minute to go to the fridge and get some refreshments, eh?
Okay, go away.
Yeah, we'll be right here.
Go away.
Well, in fact, we'll just like whistle.
Zoom off.
Cry heaven! And let's lift the dogs of war.
United States, that would really be something.
You say that Americans don't have a problem with Canadians, and we don't. But it seems like you have a problem with us. Because if I were a citizen of another country and I was a neighbor of the United States, I would consider it a privilege to be taken over by the United States of America. That's what everybody else in the world wants, American citizenship. For some reason, that's repellent to you Canadians. And I find that personally offensive, Premier.
And maybe you'll win a Stanley Cup.
We have health care.
Well, we have guns.
Yeah, well, we don't need guns.
Can I see your guns?
I don't have guns.
Changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America.
Welcome, sir. I welcome you to our land, America. We are soon to be...
well, there was a border when I came, John.
When was the last time you checked Twitter? What are they making up there of the overtures and sort of trolling to Canada about being a part of the United States?
Well, I mean, the bottom line is not going to happen.
Because you don't want
well,
to be with...
We're proud. We find you very attractive, but we're not moving in with you. It's not you. It's us. We do things a little differently in Canada. We believe in.
I just want to before you go any further. Yeah. I'm up for it. We're up for it. Whatever you do differently.
Nothing seems to come easy for the Prime Minister anymore. It certainly wasn't easy to deliver a speech over the noise of the protesters who came equipped to make all the noise they wanted. The Prime Minister didn't try to speak for very long. Instead, he walked into the crowd, but there too he had to contend with the protesters. Chrétien should be unemployed, the protesters screamed. As the Prime Minister continued toward his car, he came face to face with one of the demonstrators. Suddenly, Chrétien took the man by the back of the neck. His other hand was over the protester's mouth. He pushed him aside. Seconds later, another protester approached the Prime Minister. Chrétien knocked over the bullhorn that was in his hands. This was all over in a matter of seconds. The Prime Minister grabbing a protester by the back of the neck and pushing him aside. The RCMP pushed the protester on the ground. But how did the protester get so close to the Prime Minister? The RCMP says there was no breach in security.
That the Prime Minister was adequately protected today, and that's it.
Bill Clennon is the protester who was pushed aside.
We sort of stayed here, and then I said, well, I'll keep my ground right here, and then he came and put me on the ground.
Although the protesters were protesting unemployment insurance changes, Deputy Prime Minister Sheila Kopp says their protest was also about national unity.
You don't use that point to destroy the celebration of the Canadian flag.
You mentioned separatists before.
Well, I mentioned separatists because they then went on to say that it wasn't their flag.
When it was over, Jean Chrétien provided his account.
You didn't lunge at him, did you?
I don't know. What happened?
I don't know.
Well, you know, see, if you don't know, the cameras were there. Some people came in my way. It might have been I had to go, so if you're in my way, I'm walking. So I don't know what happened. If you happen something to somebody, you should not have been there.
Afterward, the Prime Minister's office said Chrétien was just defending himself.
Well, the old street fighter is back in town, eh?
We want to experiment too. What do you guys want?
We can
be. You want like?
We can be friends. There can be a few benefits, John. Friends with benefits, but not. We're not going to commit all the way. Benefits of trade, benefits of defense.
Right.
Yeah.
No, we'll be cool about it.
Well, I know under my watch for Ontario, it'd never be for that at all. We have the greatest country in the world. We have the greatest province anywhere. any sub-sovereign nation is Ontario and the rest of the provinces as well.
You think he's joking?
We would, you know something, to the president, I'll make him a counteroffer. How about if we buy Alaska and we'll throw in Minnesota and Minneapolis at the same time? So, you know, it's not realistic. I know he likes making these comments and he likes joking around. I take that seriously. He may be joking, but under my watch, that will never, ever happen.
Miss Simpson, you're a very lucky lady.
Oh, sweetie, thank God.
Your daughter's fine, but I recommend a 5-day stay.
Of course. We'll take out a third mortgage.
Sir, you're in Canada now, where your health care is free!
Free healthcare. Why can't America do that?
She's delirious, Doc.
I'm not delirious. In fact, I've never felt more protected. Not like back home.
Oh, hang on. Did you just say you don't feel safe in your home country?
Why should she feel safe? In America, the great Alberto roams the streets.
So let me get this straight. You're afraid of America. Is that right, young lady?
Well, there's voter suppression. President who's such a son of a...
Lisa, as you're clearly a victim of political persecution, I must keep you in Canada, where you'll be safe and assigned your own hockey team.
Canada and the United States, that would really be something.
We would say, no, thank you, sorry.
Oh, f*** off.
I think it's a load of bullshit.
Hell no. I'd have to say no.
I just find it pretty disgusting.
Here. I think that sums it up quite nicely. Born and raised here, but I also have American citizenship. I'm in the process of renouncing my U.S. citizenship because it's so embarrassing.
Like children, when they say preposterous things that are laughable.
It's just insulting. Insulted? Absolutely. You know, we are Canadians first.
I think we're good here in Canada. F*** you. On behalf of all Canada and with our full chest and all politeness, F*** you. You Cheeto.
I think that the people of Greenland should be honored.
This, to me, could be Donald Trump's Louisiana Purchase. Same size as the Louisiana Purchase in square miles.
Greenland, strategically, it makes sense because it's the halfway point between our country and the UK. So it would make sense to have that for war purposes.
What is the nature of your thoughts, gentlemen, when you say you move your lips in a particular way?
Now, the present-day electronic brains are complete morons, but this will not be true in another generation. They will start to think, and eventually they will completely outthink their makers. Is this depressing? I don't see why it should be. We superseded the Cro-Magnon and Neanderthal men, and we presume we're an improvement. I think we should regard it as a privilege to be stepping stones to higher things.
Like the looks of a
at any cost? At any cost? How far would you go with that? How far would you extend that?
Well, just watch me.
But nothing is more important than standing united.
I understand Danielle Smith has posted online her sort of reaction to this and why she didn't sign the communique, saying she can't support what's going on today because the idea is still being floated about putting an export tariff on our oil and gas. So what's your reaction to that? Why were you unable to bring her on board with this?
Well, you know, that's what's unique about our group. You know, everyone has their interest at heart, and I respect Premier Smith. I respect that she's concerned about protecting her energy, and that's her choice. That is her choice. But I have a little different theory. I have a different theory that protect your jurisdiction, but country comes first. Canada's a priority.
The incoming American president specifically and has explicitly targeted one industry in Canada, one sector of the economy. And it's not the Alberta oil industry. It's the Ontario auto sector. It's an auto pact that has been incredibly successful for 50 years in building cars on both sides of the border that benefits both Canadians and Americans. That's the target. But you don't hear Doug saying, oh, no matter what, we got to protect the auto. Yes, he does say that, but it's not at the expense of everything else. He's just pointed out that he's a Canadian first, as much as he's passionate about Ontario. And I think that's something that we all share across this table of saying, you know what, the interest of this country means we're going to have to look at everything we can, and we'll make sure that it's fair across the country, But nothing can be off the table if the U.S. continues to choose to move forward with these punishing tariffs on both Canadians and Americans.
The 11-week Patrol Pathfinder course is known to be grueling and is one of the Canadian Armed Forces' most challenging courses. A Patrol Pathfinder is an expert at insertion and extraction techniques by air, land, or sea. They must be proficient in the establishment of drop zones, landing zones, beach sites, and tactical airstrips. A grouping that is task-tailored to the mission is inserted through various means, usually well forward of friendly lines. A commander is able to deploy a Patrol Pathfinder group in isolation at distances that outreach the integral capabilities of typical conventional reconnaissance platoon assets. Patrol Pathfinders are trained to operate as a self-sustained organization until relieved by a follow-on force or tasked with subsequent operations. Pathfinders' advanced skill sets are essential to penetrate areas of interest and provide the intimate knowledge and situational awareness required for the effective insertion of fighting forces. They are human barometers that will more often than not represent the first human sensors on the ground. A Patrol Pathfinder group can be expected to be employed across the spectrum of conflict, to include humanitarian assistance in an area of natural disaster or the evacuation of non-combatants. The training for such tasks is especially difficult. The Patrol Pathfinder course is driven by a strategic imperative to build expertise in candidates through moments of extreme stress, severe conditions, physical stress, all in a simulated hostile environment with minimal support. Pathfinders must be in top physical and mental condition to withstand the rigors of long-range patrolling, long periods in uncomfortable circumstances, and to work long hours with minimal rest. Patrol Pathfinders represent an important and unique capability available to a commander. They are primed to execute the initial phase of most operations involving the insertion of forces into a new or immature conflict. Patrol Pathfinder. Mission before self.
This has been a 2025 Apoca Terrier production.